today's video, we'll be looking at interesting TikToks that you should probably know before you die.
People who are 1 in a million. Zhang Rufang is over 100 years old, but a few years back, something strange happened. She started growing a horn on her head. It started small, but it's grown to over 6 centimeters over the years. And now she's even growing a second horn on the other side. Doctors have offered to freely remove it, but she always says no. Zion Clark was born with a disease that caused the lower half of his body to stop growing. But this didn't stop him from training to become a professional athlete. Today, he's a pro wrestler, and he even competes against people who are twice his own weight. He's also appeared on multiple TV shows and even starred in his own Netflix documentary. Finally, this is Javier from Guatemala. He has an unknown condition that causes his head to grow uncontrollably and makes his voice incredibly deep. Despite this, he's lived a normal life and graduated high school.
Fun fact.
Yo, these people have some crazy things. Like this dude has a big giant head. He's probably got giant DNA or something. The lady had the horns. She's probably got a tail too. Wonder what that means she is. Man, it's crazy, right?
Sometime next week, the Earth's population should hit 8 billion. We're currently just under 7,990,000,000. So that's assuming we keep the same rate. This is huge. It's crazy to think that not even 100 years ago, we had less than 2 billion people on.
I think this all cap, honestly. How do they go around and count every single person on this world? And also count every single person that passes away on this world? It don't make no sense to me. That's a lot of people to count.
We literally quadrupled the population in less than 100. Fun facts you wouldn't believe are true. A horse jockey once died halfway through a race and won. Neil Armstrong almost had to sue his barber for selling his hair. Professional cheesemakers are now studying whether music can change the taste of cheese. There was once a 10-year-old gymnast who finished 3rd in the Olympics. There's a Starbucks cup in every single scene in the movie Fight.
What happens to your debts if you die? Maybe you think it always just disappears, but you would be dead wrong. See what I did there? Seriously, what actually happens is that the responsibility for repayment gets shifted to your life insurance provider. Basically, what life insurance does is receive fees from you in order to ensure that your family will be able to sustain themselves and your creditors repaid should you stop earning income. You know, but here's where it gets even crazier. In some cases, when you don't have life insurance, your existing family isn't required to cover any debts that aren't joint with them, meaning that your debt really doesn't have to be paid back, so hit the plus.
Unlucky people having a really bad day. This guy had just broken up with his girlfriend, and the next day, she won $85 million in the lottery. This man was arrested in the middle of a haircut. Yeah, this is the true crime here. This poor guy was exploring a cave when he ran into a bear. A kid thought he put eye drops in his eye, but he quickly realized they were peppermint breath drops. Okay, this girl took mac and cheese to a whole nother level. Finally, this man was working outside at night when his wife decided to take a picture with the flash on. And that's when he realized there were 4 lions watching him the whole time.
Serial killer cases that are still active, part 3. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Long Island serial killer who was never caught. In late 2010, 4 bodies were found on a stretch of beach, and then later several more bodies were found. Investigators then determined that every single one of the victims was derived from the same killer. As previously mentioned, the case does remain unsolved. However, investigators are constantly re-examining the evidence. And up above me right now, you guys can see the victims, and to me, it doesn't really appear that he has a type, at least physically. There are quite a few conspiracy theories surrounding this case, some including the police department and putting them at blame for the killer not being found. Regardless, with the investigation still open, one day we might eventually catch him. Follow for part 4.
Probably not.
Top 3 parasites.
But it might be a Netflix documentary one day.
Pork tapeworm. Being infected by obviously eating pork, being a Mr. Poopy Hands, or chilling with someone who's a Mr. Poopy Hands. These worms don't just chill in your stomach, as their larvae will migrate throughout your body, landing in your muscles, spinal cord, and even your brain. And if they do, you can expect bouts of reoccurring and violent seizures, cysts in your muscles that can cause blindness due to a detached retina. Number 2, Wuchereria bancrofti, a type of roundworm delivered by a mosquito that causes itchy skin, stomach pain, and painful lymph nodes. It also carries and infects you with lymphatic filariasis, which causes lymphedema, causing your arms, legs, and male reproductive parts to swell to unimaginable sizes. And number 1, the brain-eating amoeba, which is as bad as it sounds. But the worst part of being infected is that there's no known cure or even effective treatment for it. You're doomed to suffer from confusion, light sensitivity, hallucinations, and serious brain damage. Since the 1960s, go ahead and take a guess at which one of these numbers is the amount of people that actually survive. Wrong, it's none of these. The real number is 4, and the real cure? Prevention. By treating drinking water beforehand.
Squarespace is a website that makes websites. And people...
3 most powerful families in the world. Number 3, Rothschilds. The Rothschild family is a Jewish family from Germany who made their fortune in banking in the 18th century. The family expanded internationally, and today, they have control over global financial institutions. The family is worth $2 trillion. Number 2, the Rockefellers. This is the most powerful family in the United States. They've got their hands in major industries, finance, and even politics. The family is worth over $3 trillion. The founder, John Rockefeller, was at one point the richest man in the world. Number 1, the Windsors. The Windsor family is the royal family of the United Kingdom. They have control over the most land in the UK. They have complete influence over British politics, but maintain a ceremonial role. They have control over estates and palaces across the island nation.
Here are some facts that you probably didn't know that one day could save your life. Part 22. If you sit down to use the bathroom in prison, take 1 foot out of your pants completely. This way, if someone tries to attack you, you can get up and fight back. If some guy ever
Wait, what? Take 1 foot out while you pooping if someone trying to fight you. Well, I guess that does make some sense. You know, that way you don't get up and start falling. But then you gotta fight somebody while you sitting on the toilet. That's messed up.
Offers you polar bear liver, do not eat it. It contains a fatal amount of vitamin A. People who are looking for trouble are less likely to go for you if you say hi or simply let them know you're aware by introducing yourself. If you're buried underneath rubble and are unable to yell for help, grab onto something and tap in intervals of 3. It's more likely that rescuers will notice you because of the unusual pattern. More people are killed by vending machines than shark attacks or plane crashes combined. So if your snack gets stuck, it's not worth it. If you crash into an electrical pole, stay in your car and call 911. It's possible that you downed an electrical wire, meaning the entire area around your car is dangerous. If you're caught in a flash flood, realign your body to where your feet are pointing downstream. This way you'll crash into something with your feet rather than your head. Do not feed honey to a baby under a year old. It could lead to a disease called botulism, and trust me, they do not want that.
I did not know
Extinct
that.
animals scientists are close to reviving. Firstly, the woolly mammoth. It was believed to have gone extinct 25,000 years ago, but scientists discovered hundreds that just died recently. So they're planning to put its DNA inside African elephants, and they expect to bring them back in the next 5 years.
Hold on. What if woolly mammoths never went extinct? They've just been hiding from us somewhere, right? And the world's changing. We all know we're going through these global events everywhere, right? What if their plan is to say that they brought back woolly mammoths, but they were already here all along?
Next, dodo birds were hunted to extinction 400 years ago, but a preserved head was recently discovered. By mixing that DNA with a maned pigeon, dodo birds should be coming back in 15 years. Finally, expect to see saber-toothed tigers outside soon, because scientists discovered DNA preserved in tar pits, and they plan to combine it with African lions. So this 10-inch tooth beast should be coming back in 10 years.
This is the most haunted place in England, and you may have been here without even realising. The London Underground is supposedly one of the most haunted places on Earth. Aldgate Station is, well, no exception. This station was actually built on top of a plague pit, with thousands and thousands...
Hey yo, a lot of these underground railroad stations or underground tunnels are a little bit creepy. Like, just to think we got a whole city of, like, underneath our city, of just tunnels upon tunnels that go everywhere to connect all these different cities. I don't even know when we created this stuff, but it's crazy, right? You got some stuff like this, right? If it's abandoned, how long did they even have it for before it was abandoned? You know what I mean? Makes me think it's a lot older than what they tell us.
Thousands of bodies right under the tracks. This place is supposedly so haunted that there is even a staff logbook for ghost sightings. Like, what? In this station there has been countless ghost sightings from people that work there and people just travelling through it. So if you ever go to Aldgate Station, keep an eye out.
You may think the most successful predator on the planet would be something like wolves, who are successful 20% of the time, or lions at 25%. But it's actually the dragonfly at a 95% success rate. But what's crazier is how they do it. They begin to fixate on their prey's movements, almost becoming one with them. At this point, they can begin reading them almost telepathically and intercept them in mid-movement. Scientists say they do it with almost flawless precision every single time. Just to think there was giant dragonflies in the ancient time.
The Wizard of Oz torture, cast and crew. Toto the dog, played by Terry the dog, was injured on set. He was out for 2 weeks with a sprained ankle after he was stepped on. Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West, her green color was made of copper dust paint, kind of like the Tin Man's paint, except copper is toxic to humans. Like the asbestos and Tin Man's dust, they knew it was harmful, but simply didn't care. But Margaret did, seeing as she suffered from Alzheimer's caused by copper poisoning. Not only was she permanently green for almost a year, but after her signature smoke and flame exit, a reshoot ended in a pyrotechnic malfunction, where Margaret was directly hit by the blast of fire. She had second-degree burns on her face and no skin on her right arm and hand, though her open wounds were now filled with the painful, toxic copper dust, which landed her in the hospital for a month and a half. So her stunt double had to ride her broom, that exploded in midair, from the pipe being clogged with, who could have guessed it, asbestos, sending the double Betty crashing to the floor, leaving her in the hospital for weeks, with quote, permanently scarred and disfigured legs. And nobody ever fought MGM, as fighting them would mean an instant end to any of their future acting endeavors.
Dirty animal fact?
Yo, they trying to kill everybody on set. That was crazy. Like, I didn't know copper dust was infectious like that. I really did not know that. But dang, Tin Man got aluminum tin body. That's infectious. Wonder what else.
Facts that biology class definitely didn't teach you. Part 2. Salmons die right after they mate and start rotting while they're still alive. If you own a bird, you can pet its head and feet, but do not pet its back. They get sexual pleasure from this, and you're gonna give them blue balls. Sweet little ladybugs are actually cannibals and eat their siblings to grow faster and eliminate competition. The average 8-inch banana slug has an average 8-inch pee-pee, but if it's not the right size for its mate, she'll eat it off like beef jerky until it is the right size. All triggerfish are born as females, and the most masculine and toughest ones transform into a male. And with virtually no competition, she gets a lot of triggerfish cooter. Pandas in captivity often lose their sex drives and are shown videos of other pandas getting it on to encourage them to do so.
You were today years old when you realized those tags on all the loaves of bread you buy actually represent the day of the week the bread was made. Have you ever wondered why Pluto is a pet but Goofy isn't? Well, that's because Goofy is really a cow, not a dog. When you turn on your phone flashlight, it actually flips the switch to turn it on. Okay, but did you know owls actually have really long legs underneath their feathers? When you snap, the sound actually comes from your finger hitting your palm. And I know you just tried snapping to test it. If you say Lumos to Siri, it actually turns your flashlight on. And if you say Akio, it opens up any app on your phone. Okay, how did we not know the green and brown M&M are confirmed to be lesbians? Finally, TikTok has a secret emoji keyboard. Try to find them all in the comments.
3 most expensive government projects that failed.
Number
3, Oroville Dam. The biggest dam in the United States made headlines in 2017. Its base was badly damaged, and over 188,000 people had to be evacuated after the dam overflowed. Authorities had ignored signs of decaying, which ended up costing $300 million. Number 2, Texcoco Airport. The Mexican President Enrique announced plans to build a brand new $16 billion airport. However, the public referendum showed that citizens were not in favor of this. It was found that the project was steeped in corruption and was being built on sinking land. It lost all its investment. Number 1, California High Speed. The Californian rail line authorities were looking to make a high-speed railway line. However, constant fighting between the Californian state and President Trump meant that the project lost $44 billion and became a massive waste of tax money.
Photo of Nicholas Mavoli, a very famous freediver. This photo was taken after he attempted to dive 236 feet deep on a free dive. He actually ended up achieving this accomplishment and resurfaced, and here he is at the surface. He gave this very funny look right here, and people asked him if he was okay. He gave the okay sign and then promptly passed out. Shortly after this, he ended up passing away due to a pulmonary edema. And then in at number 2 is this photo taken on Japan Airlines Flight 123. As you can see, the oxygen masks are deployed, which means that this is definitely a state of emergency. Of the 520 people on this flight, now think about this, 520 people on the flight, only 4 people ended up walking away alive from this. Massive tragedy. Follow for part 2.
Yo, that is messed up. Only 4 people walked away from that plane. Guys, these are some of the most interesting TikTok facts that you should know before you pass away. Trust me. But if you like the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.